The news is reporting that the city of San Diego is about to settle a lawsuit for $30 million in the shooting of a teen. This is one of the largest settlements ever involving a police shooting. And to put that in perspective, recently there was a huge settlement in Minnesota over the death of George Floyd. And in that, somebody was on video kneeling on his neck for 9 minutes, and that caused months of protests throughout the U.S., and that was settled for $27 million. And it was 9 minutes of an officer kneeling on his neck. In this one, I'll play the video for you. It goes very quickly. But what you don't see before is there was a confrontation on the subway platform between the person who was shot and two other teens. One of the teens pulled out a gun and started shooting at Keona Wilson. He ran. As he ran, this officer, who you're going to see here, was headed towards the gunshots, and that's when the shooting happened. It happens very quickly, so I'll play it for you now. So he's running towards the call, He comes out, bam, 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 shoots him in the back several times, and the person died. So the 16-year-old, it turns out, did have a gun on him, but if this case were to go to trial, what would be relevant would be what the police officer saw. So you can't shoot a person and say, well, you know, he had a gun in his pocket or in his ankle or somewhere else that I didn't see it, but it was there, so I'm justified. You have to judge a situation as the officer saw it at the time. And as the officer saw it at the time, there were gunshots and a person was running from the gunshots. And the person did not have a gun in his hand. And it happened very quickly, so I would never want to be in this situation to have to make this call. But I'll play it again for you. It's less than 2 seconds where he had to make up his mind. So as you can see, he pulled out the gun, shot, and he shot as the person was fleeing. And that's wrong for several reasons. One, you know, if the person's fleeing, they're not a threat to you unless they turn around and they have a gun and they're shooting. And two, if you miss because the person is moving, you don't know what's behind them. And that's one of the things you learn when you learn how to shoot a gun is always know your target and what's behind it. So this cop did several things wrong, and the victim, I wouldn't say the victim, the person who was shot was 16 years old, so there was no legal way this person could have had a handgun, especially in California. And he was fleeing from a shooting, and if you're fleeing from a shooting, you're hoping to get away from the bullets, not to get more bullets put in you. However, you know, obviously the facts are bad in this and they didn't want to take this to trial, so $30 million for the family. Unfortunately, the city of San Diego will have to pay this, not the police officer involved or anyone else. Clearly they were afraid to take this to a jury. But the largest settlement in recent memory, $30 million, that's $3 million more than the George Floyd settlement. And this is for something that happened in literally less than 2 seconds that the police officer had to make up his mind. I will say I'm a lawyer and I'm viewing this through the lens of a lawyer, but I was also at some point a auxiliary police officer in New York City on the 6-2 precinct in the 1990s, early 90s, which was one of the most violent periods in the city's history. And I did not have a gun. I had a nightstick, and I did not have a bulletproof vest. And so being in these dangerous situations is not something for everyone. And if you are a person who is nervous and overreacts and things like that, this is not the job for you. And that's not a judgment. There's lots of people who are bad at math and they shouldn't be engineers building bridges. And if you are not a calm person in times of stress, you should not be a police officer. You shouldn't have a gun. Is there things the officer could have done differently? Sure, he could have called for backup. You could have driven your car towards the shooting instead of running towards it, because that will give you some cover. If you know that the gunshot was coming from here, instead of running along the wall here, you could have run along the street so you get more view here. You could have waited for your partner in the police vehicle. Sometimes they have these things that they look like riot shields, but they're actually bulletproof, and you can use that to go into buildings and stuff when the situation is uncertain. If they had that equipment, he could have used that. But as I said, here we go. 1001, 1002. The whole thing happened in less than 2 seconds. The officer did have their weapon drawn at the time, which is acceptable if you're responding to a shooting. But what do you think about $30 million for a 16-year-old who was carrying a gun himself? Normally when there are damages, if you were injured in a car accident, part of it would be loss of income and things like that to your family. But I don't think an average 16-year-old, especially who walks around with a gun, that the loss of income for their entire life would be anywhere near 30 million. So a lot of the number that was calculated on were obviously punitive damages. And again, this was not a jury. This was not a jury award. This was a settlement by the city because they didn't want to go to trial. And whatever you think of the actions of the police officer, even if you think it wasn't justified, the officer isn't going to have to pay any of that. It's the taxpayers of San Diego that are going to have to pay for that. So let me know your thoughts about this in the comment. So I am a lawyer. I am semi-retired now, but when I did practice law, I did transactional stuff. I've never done criminal law. I've never done trial. When I was in law school, I did get the highest grade in class in criminal law and criminal procedure. So this is very interesting to me, but I would never want to be a criminal lawyer. And as I said, I was an auxiliary police officer in the 6-2 precinct in New York, and I would not want to be a police officer either. But I don't mind doing these videos and looking through it through that lens, and letting you know what I see and see if we can have a discussion on it. Anyway, so like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and let me know your thoughts in the comments about what happened here and the $30 million verdict.